So there's a conversation going on right now about should Jody Wilson-Raybould be allowed to speak in the committee hearing coming up this Wednesday, having her second shot, her second time around to go and put forward her facts, her truth, as she calls it, of what happened and all of that political interference from the Prime Minister's office. Andrew Scheer has a Let Her Speak campaign going on, and a lot of people are rallying behind it. And at face value, I'm very much in support of it, of course. She says she wants to come forward. Jerry Butts, Michael Warnock, and Justin Trudeau have basically said that she was a liar, that she misinterpreted the situation, that two people can experience the same event differently, in Jerry Butts' words.
I am fully aware that two people can experience the same event differently.
So if she wants another crack at it, she should be entitled to that. She should have that opportunity. But what more is she going to add from what she already presented? In her stunning 30-minute initial testimony, she gave considerable detail for those 30 interactions in person, on the phone, text message, email, where she detailed all the different examples of interference that her and her staff received from the Prime Minister's office.
For a period of approximately 4 months between September and December of 2018, I experienced a consistent and sustained effort by many people within the government to seek to politically interfere in the exercise of prosecutorial discretion in my role as the Attorney General of Canada in an inappropriate effort to secure a deferred prosecution agreement with SNC-Lavalin. This included in-person conversations, telephone calls, emails, and text messages. There were approximately 10 phone calls and 10 meetings specifically about SNC, and I and/or my staff were a part of these meetings.
I mean, what more are we going to get? We're probably just going to get a second round of he said, she said that's going to muddy the waters even further, and Canadians might even get tired of it. They might get news fatigue and go, yeah, I don't know, call me when there's a resolution in all of this. And is there going to be a resolution? I think a lot of people might be under the mistaken view that the Justice Committee is going to come up with some sort of verdict or edict, or they will press charges. No way, that is not what House of Commons committees do at all. All they do is write a report, and then the report they summarize what the different witnesses said, and then they offer their own recommendations, 8 or 10 or 12 or what have you. They're not going to be saying much. Probably the most aggressive recommendation they'll have is, well, in the future you should consider separating the Attorney General and the Justice Minister post so we no longer have this situation again, this sort of problem. But that's not what we want to know. We don't want to know what do we do moving forward so this doesn't happen again. We want to know, did a crime happen? Was there obstruction of justice? And something dawned on me the other week. I was appearing on a television panel, and there were a couple lawyers on the panel with me, and we were all getting into this big debate over some of the very nitty-gritty legal aspects. And I looked at it, and I stepped back for a second, and I thought, this is like a dress rehearsal for a trial. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but here's these other two lawyers. They're arguing two sides of the coin. They're bringing up their points and so forth. I mean, you've got this happening on TV and radio and op-eds all throughout the country. You've got former prosecutors, former judges, lawyers stepping forward, arguing both sides of the coin. They're treating it like a trial. And hey, here's a novel idea. Maybe quit with the dress rehearsals and actually do the real thing, the main event. This is about the legal details. And people aren't sitting together and coming to a conclusive answer. So that probably tells you this is something that needs a judge, a jury to weigh in on, the legal system. So I support Jody Wilson-Raybould going back to the Justice Committee for sure, but that is not where the resolution comes. A very serious question as to whether or not there is political interference in our justice system is a legal question. I mean, heavens, if they can rustle up 31 criminal charges for Mike Duffy and he's acquitted on all of them, you've got to think they've got to be able to find 1 or 2 or 3 charges for these guys and have an actual trial and get to the bottom of it that way.